Hi, I am Karen from Karen Clark Creations and Artsy Introvert. In this video, I'll be working on Friends Season 1, Episode 8, the one where Nana dies twice. I love how this one turned out, and I knew I was going to have fun working on this one. I was excited to get to it. I actually went out and bought a box of Sweet and Low packets so I could make sure to get this right. I thought it was a sweet scene because Ross is trying to get Nana's final resting outfit together along with his mom and his aunt, and he reaches up and all these Sweet and Low packets fall and rain down upon him, and it was just so sweet. And he was filled with joy in the remembering Nana in that moment. So here I am, I'm painting Sweet and Low packets falling down the page. And I really did just take some packets and lay them on the page and kind of figure out where I wanted them to be. I am taking a wet and wet approach with these. I am wetting them with water and then I'm dropping in the Quinacridone rose, Quinacridone rose. I had to go read what it said on my chart. And I like the uneven layer that I'm getting. I didn't want it to be an even wash on this one because I wanted it to look like they were kind of papery and not perfect. Other options for this episode were fuzzy mints from the bottom of Nana's purse. I thought that one could be fun. A little yellow pencil from miniature golf because Phoebe's friend Debbie got struck by lightning on a miniature golf course. So whenever Phoebe uses one, she gets a real strong Debbie vibe from the pencil. A pair of dark red shoes that Ross pulls out of Nana's closet, but according to his mom and aunt, those are more of a day shoe for Nana's final outfit. Then there was another pair of shoes, Rachel's Paolo shoes, which are ridiculously adorable, very 90s, and I love them. That I thought maybe night cream, because Monica's mom thinks it's time for her to start using night cream, which is ridiculous. And maybe a sign for Java Joe's, kind of hinting at when Nana was younger and she hung out at Java Joe's. I am now adding the shadow. It's not really a shadow, but it's just a light, it's a shadow. It's a very, very light shadow of where the packet is raised. So it's kind of like a ravioli of paper with Sweet and Low inside. So I want it to look kind of like a ravioli or a pillow. So you have these flat pieces that aren't going to cast the light like the place where it's a pillow and the Sweet Low one's inside. And that is probably a terrible description, but it's all I've got for you. When I first started putting this in, it looked so strange. And I was like, no, trust the process. It'll work out. Just keep going. Just because the first one looks a little weird doesn't mean it's not going to work out in the end. And I am super glad I did. I love how they look. It's unbelievable to me how I can be painting such silly subjects and get such joy out of it. And I really hope that other people, you, get that too and realize that not all art has to be perfect florals and perfect landscapes and perfect portraits, and there is nothing wrong with those things. I strive to get some of those things too, but there's also fun in simplicity and fun in finding a random object and painting it, just seeing if you can get it, see how close you can get, see how abstract you can get. It's really such a joy for me. I am loving this challenge. And when I was doing World Watercolor Month in Inktober and such, I had that same feeling of when I would just pull a random object out and start painting it and then be like, wow, look at that. That turned out pretty good. So I hope you enjoy it like I do. I'm still adding those shadows. I wasn't sure how I wanted to tackle the drawing of the letters and the musical elements of the logo. It's tough drawing straight lines with a brush and and letters with a brush. So I tried a few different things. I tried a red Sharpie. I tried Prismacolor pencils, Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, Derwent Lightfast colored pencils. However, when I tested the pencils, there was a rub off on the opposite page. Since this is the first spread in this huge book, I know that those first pages are going to see a lot of movement as I paint the next 200 plus paintings. So I decided I was afraid to use them. And Sharpie felt too permanent. I like how when you use watercolor, there is that instant where you can be like, uh-oh, I have to try to wipe that out real quick. And there's a little bit of forgiveness. There would be no forgiveness with Sharpie. I would have to have completely gone over like with a watercolor ground or something to get rid of it. So I just pulled out some scrap paper, pulled out my liner brush, and started practicing. And I realized with a liner brush it would work. So the first, I don't know what that musical, I forget what that musical note is. I used to know it, forgot it. The first one I did is not perfect. The second one I did is much better, but I'm nitpicking. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's close to perfect, and as I'm doing this right now, I'm adding the bars or the lines. I'm sorry, I don't know my music terminology. Those lines where you put the notes, I botched that. But then I realize it doesn't matter because I'm going to be writing sweet and low in dark blue over top of it. You just have to have the hint of the lines. So I cooled off. I wasn't angry with myself, but I was annoyed. And then I realized, stop it. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. You're not going to be able to tell. And you really couldn't. Also with the letters here, they do not match the logo because, I drew them on. It's not going to be perfect. And they're a little crooked, but I actually kind of like my crooked sweet and low that I put here. I think it's a little more whimsical, honestly, than the print packet. So I love it. I'm so happy with this. It's ridiculous that I'm so happy, but I am. And then the little letters, I just lightly scribbled on. If there's no actual letters there, I just made little dashes and dots and pretended I was writing something, and it worked perfectly. The same thing with this packet that's turned on its back, so you can see like the nutritional facts and like the contents, ingredients, that's the word, that kind of stuff. I just jotted little squiggles and it turned out great. So I had to keep turning my book, and it was kind of awkward. I didn't want to put my hand in anything, but also I needed to get a nice angle so that it was comfortable to move the brush and in lines that I needed to move it in. And as I moved it, I also moved the packet of Sweet and Low so I could see it at the right angle too, to make sure I was getting it as close as I could without driving myself crazy. These lines that I'm putting in now, they aren't perfect either, but you can barely see them. You kind of fill in the gaps of what they should look like and what they do look like, and I'm thrilled with how they came out. Even if they're a little crooked here and there, I'm still very happy with it. Time to take the tape off. This is going to be such a fun spread in my sketchbook, and I cannot wait for you guys to see it and see what I have planned for the next episode. So that's it. This was Season 1, Episode 8. Let me know in the comments what you think about this episode of Friends and my painting. Give me a like and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications of newly uploaded videos because the next episode will be out soon.